welcome back to the Breaker Bros, and this is our instant reaction to the Bengals 28-17 loss to the Packers. And the first half was pretty rough. This game started out slow for the Bengals. I felt like the defense kind of kept them in it. Will McPherson, he technically made a 67-yard kick.
Yeah.
He called a timeout. But yeah, it didn't seem like the offense didn't do anything until the second half.
That's true.
But yeah, the defense looked pretty good in the first half. They kept it close to where, it felt like they still had a chance to win the game in the fourth. But
yeah, I mean, to be fair, the Packers deserved to lose when Jordan Love made that boneheaded play where he just didn't get the first down.
Oh yeah, where he slid.
Yeah, and that's just silly.
Well, and then they threw it on third down, which I thought was kind of weird. When I felt like they probably should just ran it. Worst case scenario, the Bengals have to use a timeout.
Yeah. I mean, you just run it, right? But yeah, you get the first down, and then you just run 3 plays.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if the clock's moving if you get the first down.
Yeah, and then starting off, it looked like the Packers were going to score, and then the Bengals defense get the red zone turnover, which was nice. But then the Bengals go 3 and out. But the one thing I did notice with Joe Flacco, it seemed like he was getting a lot of heat from Bengals fans on Twitter throughout the first half, but I felt like he was processing things pretty quickly. I know some of his passes weren't that accurate, but I think part of it was on purpose.
I don't know. I felt like he was getting hit on the ones that were inaccurate. I mean,
well, and then I think some of it
guy that knows how to play football. It's a definite upgrade over Browning. Is he going to be as good as Burrow? Probably not. But I mean, at least the offense was functional. At least the offense was dangerous. Yeah,
I just feel like going into next week, they just start with the 2-minute package. I think the benefit of doing that is that you keep the same defense on the field. And eventually you're going to figure out what the mismatch is, and then you kind of abuse that. Because, I mean, if you're going to go 3 and out anyways, you might, who cares if you run a 2-minute offense where you're not sending people in and out? Because it seemed like once they start doing that, they're removing the ball. And then, this felt very similar to last week where, the offense took way too long to wake up. But, I mean, in this case, at least it was only, the third quarter. They didn't wait until the fourth quarter to actually do anything, but because they had that long drive to open the second half.
Yeah, that was a nice drive.
Yeah, and it was just like there, because I think on that drive, Joe Flacco, he had a nice little anticipation throw to T. Higgins on the sideline.
I mean, to be fair, like what Yoshibas, how many drops did he have on that drive? Was it 2 or 3 on that one drive?
I think it was towards the end of the first half. He had like the 2 drops, but the first one I didn't mind because
on that long drive. I'm just saying that like Flacco was even better on that long drive because like he was hitting guys, in the hands, like he was on target. So, I mean, I think Flacco looked as good as I hoped he'd look. I mean, maybe some of it's the play calling. I mean, maybe it's just took them a while to figure out what to do with the players they have. But at least you have a chance.
Well, that first drive they did that jet sweep, I guess, with Jamar, and then he lost a yard. And then the next play, I think he threw a pass to, I think it was Sample, because I think they lost another yard.
Yeah.
So like the first 2 plays on their offensive series, they were for negative plays. And then, something clicked towards the end of the first half. Because I think Zach Taylor, he got interviewed before he went into the locker room and even mentioned that, they kind of figured or found something towards the end of the first half. And you can kind of tell they picked that back up on the second half because it felt like it was a completely different team on both sides of the ball, because it felt like by the second half, it felt like the defensive line was wearing out, because I felt like
well, I mean, Hendrickson wasn't in there. That probably makes a big difference.
It does, but then I felt like Jacobs kind of took over like in the fourth quarter, and it just felt like he was just running at ease at that point, and I was like, yeah, it's going to be really tough unless they get a turnover. That's kind of was the one thing I was kind of hoping for that could potentially swing the game into the Bengals' favor. But
Yeah, I never felt like they were going to win the game until Jordan Love slid. I thought, oh, well, maybe there's enough time now,
yeah,
But overall, I mean, the Packers are a good team, so it's not like it's like a terrible loss. I just feel like even if they don't win the next game, or I just feel like Flacco saved the season because at least it's like competitive,
watchable,
right? Yeah. I mean, I feel like the offense is going to get a little bit better from this game because I feel like,
well, I think they knew going into this week was going to be a pretty tall task for him to win. But that's why I was like, when we talked about, I guess our instant reaction to the last game, it was like, okay, they got to bring in a quarterback now because they kind of have to go through this growing pain.
Yeah, but I mean, like one of the best things about Burrow is that he anticipates things and he sees things, right?
Yeah,
and at least with Flacco, he's quick. He can see it.
yeah.
Right? Like he knows where he should go with the ball, and he's putting it in the right. He's putting the ball on the right target. And
I do want to say,
drops.
He did miss one pass, I think, over the middle. It was when Yoshi dropped it on third down. I think this was in the second half. I think if he would have thrown it to Higgins over the middle, he would at least had a first down, possibly a touchdown.
Yeah,
they end up taking a field goal at that point. So, but I mean, for the most part, even in the first half, when it looked very dysfunctional for pretty much the first quarter and a half, he was making the quick right decisions. And I think some of those passes, he purposely threw it into the dirt or, out of bounds.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, if you're going to check down, you got to check down fast. And it's sort of like you live to play another down, right? Like, instead of the Browning interception for forcing the ball in, or instead of waiting 2 seconds too long before you dump it off to the running back, getting the running back crushed, you get it out quick. If you're going to ground it before you get drilled, ground it. It was just a few seconds. Everything felt like it was moving a few seconds faster.
Yeah.
Last week.
Well, that was the immediate reaction that I noticed with this, was that he was just making it quick.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. I feel like that's something you can work off of, and you can tell he was getting better as the game went on. He was starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. He did take
and the Packers are a really good defense. I mean,
yeah, overall, yeah, they're pretty solid from top to bottom.
I mean, Parsons didn't absolutely obliterate them. I mean, they were doing what they needed to do. The offensive line, because he was getting it out quick, and because they were sustaining drives in the second half, they looked better. Everything just looked better because of the quick decision making and the quick throws.
I do want to give a shout out to Rivers, because I felt like, especially that first drive in the second half, it felt like the offensive line was being really physical. I think there was a few times. There was one specific time where it was Rivers that pushed, I think, P. Ryan for the first down.
Yeah, he just picked up P. Ryan and ran with him like he was the running.
But it kind of, I don't know, like that's the stuff that we want to see, right? I know that's the things that you like to see out of offensive linemen.
I mean, I was looking at P. Ryan's stats, and he had 6 attempts for 16 yards, but I just like how he plays. I mean, he's tough. He pushes, he moves the pile. He doesn't go down easy.
50% of the touches? Because I felt like he did. It felt like they had a pretty good mix of P. Ryan.
Well, it says Brown had 6 carries. Brown had 9 carries. P. Ryan had 6, but then catches, P. Ryan had 2 and Brown had 2. So yeah, I mean, he played a little bit more. I mean,
40.
Yeah, I like the mix. I just think that P. Ryan brings a little bit of physicality, a little bit of toughness.
Yeah, but when Rivers pushed that pile, there was another moment in that series where, they pushed, I think, Chase Brown another 3 or 4 yards, and I feel like it changes the mentality. So I don't know. I like Rivers. I think he could be our potential future right guard. I don't think seems
Hey, I
pretty
got
solid.
news for you. He's our current right guard.
Yeah, but like they're going into the season. We had oh my god, Patrick, who I guess in terms of guard, he's probably our best overall guard when you look at pass and run blocking.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
know. He looked good for that half.
I mean, he graded out fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like it's hard to say, right? I mean, small sample size, but yeah, I don't know. It's there. It's just like they just with the offensive line, it just feels like they can't get like the critical mass put together to be like actually good at blocking.
Well, I thought, obviously there was times where Green Bay got in there fairly quickly, but I also thought they had moments where it was pretty manageable. I don't think it's like. I think this is just the today's NFL. I think when you watch most games, it feels like
I don't know, man. Have you ever watched like an Eagles game?
I think they gave up like a whole bunch of pressures against.
I don't know, but there's some plays where like they just sit back there and tap the ball like 10 times while the offensive line is just like.
Yeah, I think they. Well, I think they are also kind of. I think they're kind of banged up a little bit. I don't think they have all of their starters, but that Thursday night game, I think it was Thursday night because I was watching it. It seemed like they were giving up a lot of pressures, quite a bit of sacks in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had like 3 or 4 in the first half. So
yeah.
I mean, but yeah, it seemed like it took, they were a quarter behind again in terms of their offense waking up and actually putting some pressure on the other side of the ball. So I mean, if they had that long drive in the first half, it would have been a completely different feeling game. But there is hopefully going into next week they can continue what they were doing towards the end of this game, and hopefully they'll have a little bit more or a lot more production in the first half because they didn't really do much, not until pretty much the end of the second quarter.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. Like, you want to give them a pass because brand new quarterback. I mean, less than a week to prepare, but
hey, he didn't turn it off
familiar
over the ball. I felt like he was kind of extra cautious in certain aspects, but then he had some pretty good throws. That touchdown pass to Chase, I mean, that was probably an even better catch and touchdown dive or whatever. Still, like where
I mean, I liked even some of the incompletions to T. Higgins.
Ushi.
I mean, like you're taking shots. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to miss those because it's close. You look dangerous.
Yeah, and it puts the defense on the heels. Like
right, they're like, they almost got that right, and they, and the other thing is that like when the Packers blitzed, they responded. I felt like, with Browning when the other team blitzed, the Bengals would just absolutely like, wet the bed kind of thing, just freak out and not do anything.
Well, it seemed like he was
pretty calm and figure out. He knew where to go and he put the ball out there. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work, but it wasn't like I mean, it's like the standard's so low. It's like they look like a real NFL offense,
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they can improve on that, maybe they can give the Steelers a game.
Well, I mean, theoretically, I mean, they still control their destiny. They play the Steelers, I think, twice within the next 3 or 4 weeks. So if they can find a way to win next week, that's the first step. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but it's still going to put them in a pretty good position. I mean, because if I remember correctly, this is where the schedule really starts to feel pretty soft.
Well, they need some softness.
Yeah, I mean I guess that Patriots game looking tougher and tougher each week, but but then again the Ravens game looks weaker and weaker. But I guess I'm assuming Lamar Jackson will be back after the bye week. I think they're off this coming week. They're going into their bye.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild finish to the season for the AFC North.
Yeah, and it does feel like the Browns are kind of tanking because when I was watching that game, yeah, their offense, man, there's just nothing there. It's like, and then
Yeah, I mean, but the Browns, I mean, not to make fun of the Browns too much, but I feel like they've done this before. They've gone through the tanking thing, and it netted them Watson, and now they're tanking again. I don't even know who the quarterback is that you want this year.
yeah,
It's
because I
not
think the main
much.
guy got hurt. I thought.
Well, Drew Aller got hurt, but he hasn't been playing that good,
Oh, okay, never
and then
mind.
Manning is kind of. He was super hyped, like he was going to be like, Peyton and Eli, and he doesn't quite look that good. I mean, he still might be a pretty good college quarterback, but he's not looking like he's going to be like a Hall of Fame NFL guy. I mean, maybe he'll turn it around, but
Well, no, the way he's playing, he's gonna go. He's gonna have to go back next year. I don't think. I don't see him get picked in the first round.
well, you never know. I mean, he's
True.
big and he's fast. I mean, maybe he'll catch fire and Texas will keep winning. I don't know.
Did they win this
Yeah,
past week?
yeah, they beat Oklahoma
Okay, yeah,
right in
I
your
saw.
backyard.
Yeah. Everyone's excited about it down here, but I only saw bits and pieces of the game. I didn't really see who won.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He just throws it weird. He's very much a side. He looks a lot like that other guy. We've talked about him before, but I can't remember his name.
Ewers.
Yeah, he looks a lot like Quinn Ewers. He just looks like a taller, faster Quinn Ewers.
Okay,
But I
maybe
mean, he
that's why
just
they like
kind
him.
of throws it soft and kind of throws it sidearm. It's weird.
I heard he might be hurt.
Who? Well, yeah, that's what people are saying. Maybe, I don't know.
But yeah, yeah, this week coming up against the Steelers, very important game.
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessarily a must win, but I feel like they got to have that statement game to really
yeah,
turn the season around.
yeah. Are they got the Muppets on it or something? We need some good vibes.
Well, I can
Go
kind
get
of see
Muppets or
Steelers
Simpsons or something.
going into the game kind of fairly confident. So hopefully,
Mhm.
potentially, this could be like a trap game for them. Open.
Yeah,
Their defense
yeah,
looks pretty solid. They started off the season kind of slow, I thought, but I feel like they turned it around either like week 3 or week 4. But I mean, that's pretty much the story with any AFC North team is that they're going to cause a lot of pressure. So we'll see how that goes. But I guess, is there anything you want to add to this game?
no.
Alrighty, peace.